What's up, everybody? Welcome to IGN
What the
Game
fuck
Scoop,
is up?
the first Game Scoop of 2020 of a new decade. I'm your host, Damon Hatfield. Joining me this week
I thought you were going to restart.
is Justin Davis. There's no restarting.
Nope. One shot.
There's no
I did a big
restarting
swear.
in Game
All
Scoop.
right, you can't let that stand. Then.
Sam Claiborne.
Hey, everybody.
And Tina Amini.
Hello.
We've got a great show for you this week. This is, of course, episode 561.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Some people, last episode was 560. Some people wonder why we seem to have skipped episode 559. The reason is, of course, 559 is a very unlucky number.
Yeah.
If you follow any podcast that makes it this long, they're always going to skip episode 5. Yeah. It's like the 13th floor in a hotel.
Exactly.
You should Google it.
Don't Google it.
I think
Just
if you had listened to an episode 559, you probably would have gotten in a car wrek or something, like something terrible.
You would have gotten
happened.
559. That's the terminology.
Yeah. Oh, the old 559. So anyway, that's why. But we've got a great show for you this week. We're going to talk about all the games we've been playing recently. We're going to talk about some next-gen PlayStation 5 thought experiments. But first, I had totally forgotten that this Lord of the Rings Gollum game had been announced early last year.
Same.
Lord of the Rings Gollum, a game where you play as Gollum, based on the books, not the movies, and a prequel to Lord of the Rings. The update this week, we got some gameplay and some information about the game this week. It's also confirmed for PlayStation 5 and Xbox in 2021. Confirmed next-gen platforms.
So what are some of the details we got?
Well, let's see here. We don't know what Gollum's going to look like. Obviously not going to look like Andy Serkis' version of Gollum.
They mentioned in that there's early illustrations of Gollum where he's huge, like a swamp thing.
Matthias Fisher told Edge magazine that Tolkien didn't have a size reference for Gollum to begin with, so in the first illustrations, he's gigantic, like a monster emerging from the swamp.
Cool.
But didn't Tolkien revise that
I'm sure.
afterwards?
Yeah.
Because he was like, oh, wait a minute.
Well, and also, is it up to Tolkien to be like, here's how big Gollum is, guys?
Yeah, there's no
He was a hobbit.
Yeah, but
why
maybe-
are we talking
He can
about
only
this?
be
Maybe in these early illustrations, he hadn't determined that he was a hobbit yet. I don't know.
I see.
That's a good point.
But there's a whole
But then why bring it up?
for something like Star Wars, there's a whole story group that's helping decide what's canon and what's not. But with Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings, it's like anybody could just paint whatever they wanted.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Yeah.
Doesn't even have to be a
way for years.
bipedal creature. Just throw everything out the window.
I hope it's a riddle generator. That's
The
what
game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I hope it's going to be?
A fishing game.
A fishing game. I love fishing games.
I'm sure there'll be fishing moments.
I hope so.
How else does
If
he
the-
sustain himself?
That's right.
How else are you going to get
On
plus
pure
5?
ring anxiety.
Yeah, exactly.
You love just fishing games, not fishing mini games. You love the fishing games like Bassmaster,
Yes, I was going to mention the black bass and the blue marlin for NES.
Dude, those games are great.
Jaws. Those games are great.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
I can't tell if serious.
No, love fishing RPGs. Big fan. They have such a strong
We're not
sense of
talking about
progression.
RPGs
Is
right
it
now.
fishing if
But
you're
they're all
diving
RPGs.
into
Legend
the
of the
water
River
now?
King.
like-
You're
you get
thinking
better-
Legend of the River King.
You get like
This has
better
gone off the
lures and you
rails.
go to different lakes. And
Use a boat metaphor.
so wait, so I'm
gone
sorry
off
if I
the-
missed this. Who is the developer of the
Off
game?
the
Daedalic.
sales.
So that's not Warner Brothers.
No, because Warner Brothers has the rights to the movies, like games based on the movies.
But Shadow of War isn't.
And specifically, they want to move
In
away
the
from
movie
Shadow
universe.
of War.
yeah, they are, and they use Peter Jackson's like version of Gollum.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
We know that
And orcs look like orcs in the movie. Yeah.
as-
Think about that.
in this game, so it's Daedalic Entertainment, which they've made a bunch of games that I've never heard of. PC
But
games.
did you, we were talking about, so they said there's decision making in this game, which all games have, like dialogue decision making.
Do I jump on the Goomba or not?
Yes. Damon thinks
I
that this
turn the
means
game
that it's going to be a Telltale game, Telltale style game. And I just think it's just going to be an action game with those segments.
I think Daedalic has made point and click adventures. I think that's kind of what they're known for.
Well,
Point and click.
and I mean Gollum, like if it's a prequel, who knows what iteration
Yeah.
of Gollum we're gonna get? But he doesn't lend himself to action-y 3D
But stealth.
open world.
Stealth,
Yeah,
sure.
It could be like almost like
Yeah.
a Plague Tale-y stealthish game.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like Gollum like throttling a bunch of people and infiltrating a base, but I think it'd be cool if you're like avoiding, stuff that obstacles and then maybe exploration. I mean, he can basically move vertically on walls. It could be a climb
It's going to be
everything.
Uncharted, but Gollum.
Gollum should
Yes,
be able.
that's a good way to say
It's
it.
gonna have
'cause
guns.
Like that's like a combination of climby puzzles
Yes.
and throttling.
Gollum
It's going to be
should.
hiding and
Pull the
and
triggers.
crawling, and internal dialogue options.
Gollum should absolutely be able to climb everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
And fish.
We know we play him as he's deep into his corruption by the One Ring, and he conveys a different set of emotions than those seen in the films because he needs to be more sympathetic and relatable because you're playing as this character.
Oh, just changing the character to fit your interests.
He's fairly
Typical
sympathetic
video
in the films. He sings that cute song.
Smeagol is.
But he's a betrayer.
Yeah. And then
Says taters.
we can expect stealth gameplay, dual personality mechanic, huge levels. So that doesn't sound like a point-and-click adventure. Huge levels and a move away from the violence that dominates other Lords of the Rings games. Lord of the Rings.
That's how you pluralize it.
Shadow
Lords,
Warden.
Lords of the Ring.
If this takes place between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, that's an era in which Gollum goes to Mordor, gets captured, gets tortured, gets captured again by Aragorn when he's set free, goes to Mirkwood.
Go into more detail with this. I thought this was interesting.
Okay.
You were explaining this to me yesterday.
Wait, you want me to go into more detail?
Yes.
All right. In year 3013,
We know that Hobbit or Bilbo meets Gollum and gets the ring from him.
Yeah, so then at that point, Gollum is like, he knows that there's a thing called the Shire, and he knows that there's halflings and that who Baggins is, right? Yeah. And we know that because in the very beginning of Lord of the Rings, we've seen the movies, he's shouting that while being tortured in Mordor, and that's because he leaves and he goes to try to figure out where his ring is, and at some point he gets captured and taken and tortured. But then Sauron says, you probably are trying to trick us and you're not giving us all of this information, but you did give us this great information that there's somebody named Baggins in the Shire or whatever.
Which they do show in the movies.
Yes. He goes Shire, Baggins. I think he and they all, that's what the Black Riders are repeating. So then he releases Gollum because they think like, oh, we'll just follow him and he'll lead us right to him. And at some point in there, Gollum talks to Shelob probably and stuff like that. I don't know, because then he has a relationship with Shelob later, where you can say like, eat these hobbits and we'll make a deal. But then he goes he gets captured by Aragorn, and they want to interview him at that point because they know he had something to do with the ring, and Gandalf's trying to figure out what the One Ring, if it's the One Ring or not, which he doesn't realize for a long time. He just knows it's a ring of power. There's 11 of them or whatever. So that all happens, and then again, you stop me when I'm going too far.
No, love it.
I'm just trying to give a geographic sense of where Gollum could go. Because then he goes to he's captured by the elves in Mirkwood, and there's like a battle. There's the Sauron's dark forces are like in Mirkwood at that time, and it's just all this stuff happening. So there could be a battle sequence in this too. But then Gollum gets out, and then somehow he meets up with the Fellowship under the Misty Mountains in the Mines of Moria. So that means he's probably released from, he escapes in the turmoil or something from Mirkwood during that battle. And then he comes across and is like lost in maybe Moria for a long time because he just comes upon them then. And that's the point in which he joins the hunt for the ring again.
But this is all happening before. The game's supposed to be set before all this stuff goes.
Yes, yeah. So I think this would lead up to the point in which he's maybe in Mirkwood or something like that. Maybe it ends with him like finding the Fellowship, but probably not.
Well, it makes
that would
sense.
be the happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess it would make sense. He's lost the ring, so that's why he's on a quest to try and get his ring back.
Exactly. I think that could be the motivation. Yeah. If it's before that, if it's when he has the ring, like it could be about him losing the ring in the cave and just trying to find it. Because he lost it then too. And then even if it's before that, which I don't think it would be, it'd be him finding the ring, being
corrupted.
And kicked out of the village and all that stuff, which would be all right.
They also seem to allude to the fact that, like, through these narrative decisions that you're making within the dialogue as your Smeagol versus Gollum, that you can arrive at an ending that's more leaning towards one personality over the other. So that kind of gives an idea of what the story might be, or at least what the ending will.
And Gollum has technically a happy ending because he gets that ring. It's just for a second or two.
Yeah. Well, spoilers.
My favorite part of that whole lore dump, by the way, is that you saw the Hobbit movies, which are terrible, but they expand a lot on this. And in the books, Gandalf just disappears from the book. And then he comes back in like 100 pages later and is like, oh, sorry, I had to go take down this necromancer in the forest. And then he's just back in the book. It's not a part of the story. It's never addressed again. And when you're a child reading this book, you're like, what? What just happened? Like, he kicks Sauron out of Mirkwood, and it happens off camera in the book. It's insane.
Yeah, he like flees back. I think they even show that a little bit in the Hobbit movies. Right?
Yeah, it's a whole subplot in the movies.
So that's what they're talking about. Interesting. So what's your impression of this? Looking at the IGN comments, a lot of people are like, why would I want to play as Gollum in a game? Of any character in Lord of the Rings, why would I want to be Gollum?
Well, it certainly sets you in like more of a stealth environment, so that's cool. It's different than the Shadow of Mordor games that we've played.
I think he's really interesting narratively, but it's the same. The gameplay. I don't know. There's a reason that those games are like Sword and Board. Like that's a very established format for making a successful, fun video game.
Yeah.
Gollum's always been like a kind of a controversial addition to the Lord of the Rings. He's really creepy, and I don't really, it's really Peter Jackson did a lot with that character to make it, I think, more fleshed out and interesting than I ever thought of Gollum in the books. And I think that's a really cool thing. So if a game could do that, it'd be great.
Also a credit to Andy Serkis, I think.
Yeah. And my policy on elves and everything. Only Tolkien's allowed to use those.
Yeah, that's
dwarves and elves and hobbits, especially. If those aren't other things, come on.
How lame?
Come up with your own stuff.
How lame are the elves in The Witcher?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Nobody does.
You should see the halflings, man. They're in the game.
That's like nobody else can do hobbits, but they cheat it by having halflings.
Yeah. Come up with your own fantasy stuff.
I agree.
It's not as bad. I can't even talk about The Witcher though, because like later episodes
No
have
spoilers.
other bad things.
Anyway, Lord of the Rings Gollum is coming 2021, PS5 and Xbox Series X alongside PC.
That's cool that they got confirmed for the next gen consoles.
Yeah,
It is
next gen
We're in
is
such a
officially
fun-
real.
We're in such a fun period where
Yeah, that's
almost
gonna-
every game that's announced now is going to be
Yeah.
confirmed to be PS5.
It's going to keep happening. Hey, speaking of PS5, thinking about it, I should have saved that audio cue for something we're going to talk about later.
Is there something we need to be
more?
concerned
Maybe
about
for
with
the
the
game.
PS5?
That was Dracula X.
Dracula X. Okay. The Super Nintendo one.
Thanks.
We got a question on Twitter that was sent to all of us. Taylor Atkinson asked us, Omega Cops, how much would the PlayStation 5 have to cost for you to not get it?
Interesting.
PS4 launched at $400, I believe, 2013.
I didn't get a PS3 at launch because it was really expensive.
$599 US dollars.
Yeah.
Was that the high end one?
Yeah. I don't know. No, I think that might have
I think
been
that was
starting.
just it, right?
Yeah.
Right at the beginning. $600. That's amazing. PS4 was $400 at launch, I think. I don't know. What would be too much? I wouldn't pay it. $1,000 certainly.
Definitely not.
Let's knock it down from there.
900, 800.
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah. It depends.
$400,
on-
sure. 500, maybe.
What about 600
definitely.
and it plays Nintendo games?
Sure. You could throw in Nintendo games.
Yeah. 400 is
But we
like hard
already have
yes, and
Switches.
500 is like
Yeah.
let's see what launch game.
Yeah, and like what are these? Yeah,
Like-
what are the new next gen features?
That's what the question is, right? Is like what's feasible. So theoretically, the PS5 could launch to such a degree with so many bells and whistles that 500 could be reasonable.
I think 500 is super reasonable. For me personally, like I have a really nice gaming PC, so it comes down to exclusive software. And so if there's a game that I have to play that's really important this fall, like something that's really in the zeitgeist that's only on PS5, then like, I'll suck it up and pay $500.
So collectively, $501 is what we've agreed on.
That's
It's
it.
at $499,
Not a cent more.
Yeah.
501, shut it down.
I think they have to do 400 now. Like, I don't think consoles are ever going to not do that for a little while. That seems to be the going rate.
Well, what about didn't Xbox One X cost 500 at
Yeah, but
launch?
that wasn't a console. That was a
Well,
point.
I'm just saying-
console.
I expect them to be 500, and that's just a lot
like-
for me to swallow.
If the next Xbox is more powerful, how could it come in at a cost under the Xbox One X?
Well, that's a good point, but it's because they want to get it. Launches are different. The 0.5s were just a different time. But also, like, I think that they do always incur such a loss on these console launches. I just don't think it's the goal to make a bunch of money.
Yeah, it's more about an appealing number that at some point gets closer to like reverting on your costs for it.
We also, as far as I know, there's more of these rumors with Xbox and PlayStation, but we might see 2 consoles at launch, is the rumor, at least.
Even on PlayStation 4?
Well, it's
You mean 2 editions?
yeah, 2 editions that commonly swirls around
Pro.
the Series X. Like they might have a pro model at launch and a cheaper model at launch day one.
iPhone style and all.
So that would let them have, then they can have some they can have their cake and eat it too. Like we have a cheap console that you can buy today. We also have the most
if
powerful.
you're a
We're more
real
powerful
gamer-
than our competitor. Yeah.
The most powerful console.
Suck it up and
real gamer.
buy that. So I think
Don't start that.
I think Xbox is going to have a
I didn't.
$400 console and a $600 console.
600 even.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's the interesting thing is when there's the high end ones that like push push upwards above the level instead of having a cheapo one and a standard one. If they have the standard and then these like really expensive models, that'd be pretty interesting. And they'd sell them.
Yeah, it is.
They're going to be taller. That's how you know they're more
They just keep.
powerful.
I hope that
No,
they just.
smaller. That's the way it goes.
That would be more expensive normally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want
But
them to
what if
make
you
it
want to
bigger.
show your friends?
Yeah, I don't want them to make it bigger, fatter. I just want them to make it tall. Like make it like 2 feet tall.
I mean, if we've already decided we're hanging it vertically, then
Yeah.
why not?
Suspend
take
it
up
from the
more
ceiling.
width. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, get it up off the ground.
Better ventilation.
Obviously, it is a next gen year, so we will have lots more next gen details, more concrete details to talk about as the year goes on. But we just had a nice long break, and I want to hear what games you guys have been playing right after this. So that was obviously Iron Tank on NES.
Okay.
Who spent their break playing Iron Tank?
Everybody knows that.
I've played Iron Tank.
I have played Iron Tank.
Yeah, I think it had 2 players at once, which made it really
Yeah, probably.
appealing at the time.
Not a very good game, I don't think.
Well,
But
no Jackal.
what were we playing? Here?
I only played a little bit of Luigi's Mansion.
That's it?
Yeah, I opted more for reading than video gaming. I know it was
Family
just
time.
how it went together this time. But yeah, I started up Luigi's Mansion finally, and myself and my nephew loved it, and
Yeah.
it was such a cute experience to like. I realized as we were playing, because frankly he's 2, and so at that age you just constantly need to be distracting them from one thing to the other to keep their attention. Otherwise, it's like temper tantrum central. And so I sat him down and showed him the intro screen, and we're going through it, and he's like looking at these ghosts, and I'm like emphasizing like, look at this ghost, aren't you so scared? And realizing in the process that
Aren't
this is
you
the
scared?
first time that he's seeing Mario as a character, as an entity, as this like iconic thing that we all know very well because he's 2, and so this is his first experience, I think, with any video game.
First time seeing a ghost.
First time seeing a ghost,
Won't
first
be
time
the
seeing
last.
Luigi. Yeah, for sure. So it's just a cool, little developmental thing for him.
That's cool. And then what's your...
At 2, he could pay attention to the
He was-
actual movement of what
I
you were
was
doing?
shocked, yeah. And there was a glare on my Switch and everything because it was just in handheld mode. But he was just enthralled by the fact that like he could tell I was doing stuff with like the D-pad and all the input buttons. Like he could tell they were doing things. Instinctively, he went for the screen, of course, because kids these days have good acknowledgement of how touchscreens work.
My daughter still try to swipe the television.
That's amazing.
That's cat-like. But yeah, he could tell that like I was Luigi walking around, and he could tell when like a big ghost monster was chasing after me, and he had that sensibility. It was cool.
And then what's your impression of the game?
I'm super early in, but so far, as adorable as and engaging as any Nintendo game would be. So I'm like in the midst of figuring out all the levels of the floors and stuff, going up and down the elevators.
Sam, how's Final Fantasy VII going?
First of all, I did play a little bit of Luigi too, maybe 3 or 4 hours of it, and it is a lot of elevators. I don't know if that's the game for me, but it was really pretty. The ghosts look amazing in that game.
They're scary but cute. Everything is scary but cute. It's perfect.
So yeah, I started Final Fantasy VII, and I've never played it before. I've talked about it on the show. I've been meaning to play it. I'm surprised it's so much like old Final Fantasies. I don't know why I'm surprised about that, but like I was like a weird little kid and didn't want to play it at the time because I thought it was like too diverting from Final Fantasy. But it's so cool to have like, the same spells like lit and cure and fire and everything. It's really neat to have all that. And then the combat feels just like Final Fantasy. That game is just a kind of crummily written movie though. You just play through it. You just walk from town to town. You don't do there's a little bit of side questing. I got Yuffie.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
That's
But,
not easy to do.
No, but I used a guide to do it.
Sure.
So I don't know how you would have figured that out at the time. She has this character you have to recruit by choosing the right dialogue options. And first you have to say like, yeah, you are really scary. Yeah, you really scared us. And then you have to say like, I wasn't that scared though. Like it's like this dumb sequence. And then when you have to like talk her up that like she's tough, and then you walk away. So that's all happening. And like now I'm out actually in the open world. I'm actually way past the open world. I think I'm almost at disc 2 actually, which is a thing that I never thought I'd say. But what's really good is that I have a fast forward button. And that means that I can walk around really fast, and then I can get through battles really fast. And it's the best thing ever for an old RPG. And I think that's a really cool thing about the emulation. And then the final thing I'll say is that I have no idea what this game is going to be about.
The remake.
Yeah, the remake. It makes no sense to me. Like, all you do in that city is dress like a girl and go to a strip club and get into a mafioso's place. And it's just so, there's nothing that happens. There's like barely any. I don't know if people remember this as like a longer sequence if you haven't played it for a while, but it's just a couple hours.
I think it's like 4 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, and all you do is talk to a bunch of people and see a little bit of backstory from some people, and then you're out, and then the game starts.
You infiltrate the Shinra building, and you go to the church, and then you go to the train yard that's got full of ghosts. It's haunted.
Yeah, but those are like 3 screen places.
But like, it's easy. Like a haunted train yard that's 3 screens in Final Fantasy VII can be blown up into like an hour. Of
It
like
can
remake.
be, but we don't know. Like, I'm so mystified that this remake is happening and what it's going to be. And I really wish it was like this big open world RPG game. Not even open world, just have an overworld. Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But that game is cool. There's cool things in that game, and I don't want to dismiss it entirely. I really like the materia system, the combos and stuff, and I picked up the classic print strategy guide, and it's so awesome to play
really
along
cool.
with.
Yeah.
Materia system's great, man. Like, you get all and heal on a weapon. You can just heal everybody all at once.
Yeah, or I just, and from the guide I read, all and time, and you can give everybody just faster.
Yep.
Right from the start. It was really powerful in Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it's great.
There's another button that just turns on super attacks too for the emulation, which I've not used.
I haven't played Final Fantasy VII since it was first released when I was in college, but hearing you talk about it makes me want to play it again, especially with the quality of life improvements that they've added to the game.
And that makes it playable. Like, if you just want to like veg out and play an old RPG, like it is a pretty good option. It's not a terrible RPG or anything.
No.
It's just like, it feels like a fun, comfortable old Final Fantasy.
You turn on the button that shows you all the exits out of a scene.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's like another way. There's like a door that you don't even know you can go in.
There's a button for that?
Yeah, well, I don't know on the Switch. Like, there was in the original game. There was. I assume there is in the port. Like,
On the original game, there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
It's so confusing.
because the screens are
quality of life
pre-rendered,
improvements.
pre-rendered in low res that it's hard to even tell like
No,
where
it's
you
like this
are.
muddy door in the corner. I have no idea. It's so confusing. You
should investigate that.
The guide's good for that. I will look into that. Does that sound like Final Fantasy X at all?
With random doors being highlighted? No.
Or was that
10 wasn't
Certainly
pre-rendered.
not
It's
on
only
2DS.
7, 8, and 9.
Okay.
10
It's
had
not
that-
pre-rendered?
10 had like actual 3D graphics.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
I've been playing another Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy Adventure,
Whoa.
because I got the Mana Collection for Switch, and it has Adventure, Secret of Mana, and then what's the third? I forget what the third game is in there. Trials of Mana, is it that one?
The third one was called Seiken Densetsu 3,
Yeah.
and then I don't know what it's called here.
Anyway, Final Fantasy Adventure is something I missed as a kid. I think I played Legend instead. It's a Game Boy game, and it's more of an action RPG, and it's totally fun and playable today. And they didn't even really add any quality of life improvements to that, except for there's a quick save feature. But it's just like you walk around overworld fighting monsters in real time and get different weapons. And then you go into towns and dungeons and fight bosses. And
Do you have a monster in your game called Dorky Face?
I haven't encountered
'Cause I do.
Dorky Face yet.
Did you name Dorky Face?
No, Dorky Face is a monster that just appears out of nowhere. You fight Dorky Face.
Does he have a dorky face?
It's just a jack-o'-lantern.
Oh. That's pretty dorky.
It's a little dorky, I guess.
Anyway, Final Fantasy Adventure is pretty fun. I'm enjoying that one. And then I also played a bunch of My Friend Pedro, which is fun, but I think, like we talked about before, very similar to Katana Zero, which I prefer.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on sale. I might buy that one today.
Which one? Katana Zero?
Yeah.
It's a little more intuitive, all of the like gun dancing.
And I just like the visual style of Katana Zero a little bit more than
Yeah.
My Friend Pedro. But My Friend Pedro is also very cool.
I
enjoy
guess the
that.
big difference is like the twin stick aspect of it for the dual shooting, essentially.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Justin, as you mentioned, there's a big sale going on Switch right now, right?
Yeah, there are 1,000 Switch games on sale now. It's like their New Year's sale.
Deal.
And it's actually a bigger...
I'll take 'em.
It's a bigger deal, like a bigger sale than their Black Friday sale was. So
When I bought Final Fantasy, do you think it was part of that? It was like $7. It was like a weird percentage off, like 40% off or something.
you know, I think you had it before Christmas. Like this sale just
Just
started
after,
this
okay.
week.
And finally, I've been playing Devil's Tilt, which is a new pinball game.
I've had my eye on that. It looks so cool.
It's awesome. It's the spiritual successor to classic '90s video pinball games, Devil's Crush and Alien Crush, I think from the same creator. And it's like it's a very cool like occult sort of bullet hell shooter pinball game.
Pinball adventure.
Yeah, and it's very, very cool. It's super 90s.
What's it
Got a
for?
super 90s soundtrack. I'm playing it on Switch. I think it's also on PC.
Steam.
I think it's very cool. One thing that people might take issue with is that it's $20 and it's only one table. And people are used to like Zen Pinball and like getting a package of tables there.
But the table is not like a rectangular. Like it's got like you're going through different.
There's 3 tiers to it.
Yeah.
There's a boss on each tier, and I'd like actually be interested in hearing what Sam thinks about it.
As long as you don't say table ever again.
Sorry,
We've gone over this.
there's only one machine in Devil's Tilt Pinball.
But that
it's
doesn't
very
make
cool.
sense either, though. So I totally see why you'd say table in virtual pinball.
But that game's very cool. I've been enjoying that one. And finally, Justin, what have you been playing?
I'm playing a lot of stuff right now.
All right.
I'm still working my way through Dragon Quest XI S on the Switch. Love it. It's the most charming, chill, like cool down, play before bed game.
Does it have chocobos?
No,
God, you guys.
just has regular ass horses.
That's a Final Fantasy thing.
I'm getting to the point now. I remember I talked about last time on Scoop where one of the first enemies you fight is a cruel cumber, and all the enemy names are these little puns, and he does this funny little dance, and then you kill him.
Are they all vegetables?
And now, no, but
They
now
can't
I'm
do
on.
that.
I'm
That's
getting to
Dragon Ball
like
Z.
as I'm deeper in the game, I'm getting to the reskins, and the reskin of the cruel cumber is a Zumini, which I think is really cute. Big fan of that game.
Tina Zumini.
I know, it sounds like my name.
We
Or like Zumbini.
yeah. My wife and I are trying to get up off the couch more often, so we got Just Dance 2020 on the Switch, and it works super, super great with the Joy-Con. Having a lot of fun with that, and the girls like that one too.
Anything else that's got you up off the couch?
Last night I did Ring Fit Adventure for the very first time.
Yeah.
It times you. It doesn't time your play session, but it times how much actual exercise you're getting. So it's like, if you take a little break, the timer stops, and it says I got 11 minutes of exercise across like a 25 or 30 minute play session, and it almost made me barf at the end.
Wow.
So
Yeah, I hear it's like a legit exercise.
I was very, very sweaty. I had to skip the cool. It's like, now your workout's over. You do these cool down stretches, and I had to skip them and lay down flat on my floor.
Aw.
So
Those are important for your muscles.
I know, but I was like, I ate a bunch of soup before I exercised.
That's a terrible idea.
but it was exercise soup.
Yeah.
So sometimes publishers ask us for box quotes, and they're allowed to use like a quote from one of our reviewers. They have to go through our reviews editor, Dan, to get them approved, so they don't just get taken out of context. And Nintendo, you're welcome to use. It almost made me barf.
Yeah, it was great. Semicolon. It almost made me barf.
So is it like Connect Adventures where it's specific adventures?
Yeah, it's a legit RPG. Like I'm earning coins and leveling up. And if you were to have a camera filming me, this is what makes it so clever. What you would see is just someone doing reps of like, I'm doing 10 squats and I'm doing chair pose and I'm doing.
Can you summon Odin?
You cannot summon Odin. Or no Knights of the Round. And you're doing these knee lifts. But if you were to see that in the context of the game, those are all attacks that I'm dealing damage to a boss. And you also get to choose from like what move do you want to do. And so, like my legs are feeling tired. I want to do like a shoulder exercise or like an ab exercise now. So I'm really, really impressed. It's a lot more workouty and less video gamey than I was expected. It's very intense.
Yeah.
For the better. Stuff like Just Dance isn't like necessarily a great workout. So this sounds better for that purpose.
You just ruined Justin's entire workout regimen.
I mean, that's more cardio. That's fine. You need cardio too.
True.
And I started Disco Elysium.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
How's that for a workout?
First impression?
For your thumbs.
A mental workout.
First impression is might be the best writing in a video game ever, maybe.
Interesting.
Like it starts very strong and continued very strong, and I only stopped because I have, other demands on my personal time.
Have you ever heard Sephiroth talk to the cloud?
Yeah. I like Final Fantasy VII, but that translation is almost incomprehensible.
There's some stuff in that game that is not going to be in the remake, and I'm just going to leave it there.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
They tried to adult a little bit.
Let's move on. It is a new month, new year, new decade, and that brings us to another retro game magazine. This week, we're flipping through the December 1990 issue of Game Player's Strategy Guide to Nintendo Games.
Is this going to pop up here?
No, it's not going to.
Well, we could have.
Yeah, sorry, we don't have that up there. Everyone at home is going to be able to see it, though. Back to the Future 2 and 3 got on the cover, along with Gilligan's Island.
What is the magazine?
Game Player's Strategy Guide to Nintendo Games.
Never heard of it.
I turn it this way so we can see.
Well, you see, it doesn't really turn.
Should I bring my projector?
very a lot. Yeah. Yes, bring the projector. You don't really need to see the screen so much.
All right.
Anyway, there's like 28 pages that I've selected out of this magazine here, and I don't want to I just want to set the stage. The last page of this magazine is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Okay.
All right.
Well, don't build it up too much.
Let's get into it. You can get a free Bart Simpson poster. It says, it's free, man. All you have to do is you can hang out with Bart Simpson every day for a free poster. Send 3 Butterfinger candy bar wrappers, the 2.1 ounce or larger, plus your name, address, and zip code, and $1.25 for postage and handling too. Blah, 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 blah.
Let's do it.
That's not free. You have to pay for postage.
The poster...
counts.
Plus, you had to pay for the Butterfingers and no baby ones.
But you still got Butterfingers for
The
it.
poster's a shot of
good
Bart
paid for
and
that.
Maggie skateboarding down a hill, and he's holding a Butterfinger, and he says...
Can't lay a finger on my Butterfinger.
That's what he
It looks like he's saying it's free, man.
That's
earlier.
That's not the poster, though.
Oh, that's the ad. Okay.
I'm getting texts, and when you're a dad, you have to make sure there's nothing like super wrong.
Well, it's probably because you just said you saw the coolest thing you've ever seen in this magazine, and it wasn't about the birth of your child.
Okay, I think everything's fine. Let's move on.
It sounded confident.
Yeah. Actually, Sam does need to see this ad for Skate or Die 2, which is like 2 guys playing Skate or Die 2 well, they're not even playing it. They're just looking at an ad for it.
Can you leave this here? Then we can all see it.
Yep.
Is that a crack in the
Are they
wall?
playing in a sewer? And
They're
That's
they're
not,
playing in a cool skaters pad.
I was going to say, that's just a cool guy's room.
we also need to talk about the size discrepancy between these 2 players. Either one is a hobbit and one is a man.
There's a very tiny man in a Santa Cruz skateboard shirt.
Yeah.
Also, that mounting of the TV is really not safe.
It looks like it's in the wall. Skate or Die 2.
Is it in the wall?
Well, I was going to say,
Because it's a giant CRT. There's no
that
flat
TV is not
screens.
mounted. Like, that TV
Remember-
weighs 1,000
This is
pounds.
1990.
Okay.
How could you mount a TV on a wall
So
in
what's going
1990?
on here? There's no stand.
It's a hole in the wall.
Of course.
And they inserted their
Of course.
CRT
Yeah.
television.
The whole thing is fake. It's an advertisement.
Skate or Die.
It looks like it's cut out of a photo.
Skate or Die 2, The Twisted Skate Adventure with the Ultimate Ramp.
I didn't know they made a Skate or Die 2.
Oh, it's the best version. And this half pipe ramp is like a side. You can just choose to play that, and it's like you can just do the half pipe, like a Tony Hawk level or something. It's really fun.
I also need to
And
read.
if you screw up, you go in the center part of the half pipe, and you fall on the center of it, and you split down the middle, and your head flies off.
Jesus.
It's really violent.
read this small print. It says,
Skate or die.
for tips and stickers, send $2 to Electronic Arts.
Cool.
And it lists their address.
Or Butterfinger wrappers.
Let's do it. Let's do all of these things
For
after the show.
tips and stickers, send $2
I want
to
that
Electronic
sticker
Arts.
sheet so bad. Can you
Maybe
imagine?
if you send it, they'll still give it to you.
All right, let's go get some Butterfingers.
Yeah.
Send $2 for tips and stickers.
No,
this is how it
$2.
started. This is how greedy
You
EA
already
started.
have one.
They
It's in
want
San
your
Mateo.
$2.
It's the same place that EA still is.
Yep.
We could just go there.
All right,
All right,
moving
we'll
on.
figure
Here.
that out. I bet they have a
I love
storage
it.
closet.
Here we have a 2-page spread ad from Culture Brain, and I love the headline. It's just why these games are great.
Tina, as an
it's
editor,
for-
do we add question marks like that?
It's for 2 NES
What's up
games.
with that M?
Baseball. Which
Is that
yeah.
an N? Why
Oh,
are
it's
these
'cause-
games are great?
Oh, it's
'cause
2
the-
pages.
I see. The
Yeah.
page
Oh,
is like
okay.
collapsed and stuff.
It's for 2 NES games, Baseball Simulator 1000 and The Magic of Scheherazade, whose title is incomprehensible, unreadable.
You can't read the text in that game. I know.
And then the headline, it just says, why these games are great. Top sellers for baseball. It's a top seller amongst baseball games. It has averaged 1,000 games per week in 20 weeks at Toys R Us.
We should have tried IGN's Game of the Year.
Yeah, no, I hate question headlines. Everyone knows this. I say it about once a week.
And then for Scheherazade, it says the responses are phenomenal. Top quality, piles of fun letters. Letters like, I really enjoyed the game called Scheherazade. I really like adventures, and this was one of the best I've ever played.
Wow. Wow.
Now,
So-
Tina, what if this answered the question why these games are great?
Which
Doesn't matter.
I think we have
Because
answers.
really, what would happen is everybody would scroll down and just like write the comments on this magazine. That's the problem with question headlines.
They answered them in the comments.
Yeah.
I got to run a question headline by you after this.
Okay.
Uh-oh,
Is it for Scoop?
Damie's in trouble.
Why these games are great. That should be.
Game Scoop
Is that what-
I mean,
661?
frankly, I'd click on it just to know what the hell was going on in presumably video.
Why this podcast is great.
I think we should headline
you
Game
have
of the
it.
Year 2020 why these games are great.
You know, Game Scoop 661 is kind of a question.
Yeah.
It's really true.
That's true.
Here we have an ad for Pac-Mania on NES, and I love it says Pac-Man in 3D, a whole new way to get really wild and crazy. When I want to get wild and crazy, I play Pac-Man.
But not in the old way,
In
Dave.
3D.
3D. This was actually technically the last way to get really wild and crazy. It's
Yeah.
been 3
Yeah,
decades.
I
no
know.
one's come up with a
Yeah,
new
it's
one
true.
since.
Why did they put a picture of the NES on the box? Or just in the ad? Like, it's for this console. This is the console
Well,
that
it is-
plays
it is 10
this
games.
game.
That's so you can be like, Mom, I want this one.
And then under Tengen, the logo says arcade hits for all game systems, and all is underlined.
Yeah.
So just so you know, they're
I see
They're
one.
emphasizing.
not exclusive.
That Pac-Man art is terrifying.
It's not the fake all, it's the real all.
Yeah, Pac-Man's just bouncing around there.
Do you guys know who Tengen is? It's Atari.
It's Atari, yeah. So here we have editors' favorites, 1990, the good, the rad, and the awesome. Our editors and game
That's
experts
never been used
choose
before.
their favorite NES games of all time.
What's the scale? Do you think awesome is better than rad?
Oh, man. I don't
It
know.
has to
That's
be,
tough.
right?
They say,
'Cause the
let's see if
rad
I
is
can.
bad.
Let's see if I can read this from here. This is it: a totally
guess so.
unscientific, absolutely unauthorized, completely unsanctioned list of game players' favorite games, handpicked by our editors and game experts from their personal playing experiences.
So it's only favorites.
This list is not meant to be an official game players ranking of the best Nintendo games of all time. Instead, it's a personal, sometimes peculiar listing of games that have had the most appeal to the most people here at Game Players over the past couple of
You
years.
said this was 1990?
How similar is this copy
That's
to
what
things
I was
we have
just
to
going to
write?
say.
Yeah.
It warms
We
my heart
still
that
use
in
these disclaimers.
30 years,
Yep.
we're writing the same introduction to top lists.
And people still don't get it.
Yeah, then we still have to answer all the. That's the thing.
I
It's just
I
trying to
disagree
stave off
with this
questions.
list. Make your own, man.
And they say, since this is a purely personal selection of favorite games, we've alphabetized the choices instead of ranking them by popularity.
Cowards.
So since it's alphabetical, they started with Baseball Simulator 1000. Why this game is great?
Why?
Well, they listed there. Not all these little blurbs are that interesting. Batman is number 2, so we're just going to go through this list. Baseball Simulator 1000.
Hold on.
Batman.
Tina, we heard your verdict on single question marks. What about 2 exclamation points? Not 1 or 3.
The good, the rad, and the awesome.
Well, you know what F. Scott Fitzgerald says.
What's that?
2 exclamation points are far too many.
That's what
That's not what he says.
he says. Oh, yeah, and here's
Yeah,
an
he
ad
doesn't even like one.
for the Ultimate Basketball. It says, it's Ultimate Basketball. Trash all those other basketball cartridges. Double Dribble, Jordan versus Bird 101. They're in the trash. You have Ultimate Basketball now.
That's good advice.
So their list continues. Bionic Commando, Blades of Steel. I love that their blurb says, hockey makes its appearance on our list with this Konami game.
Well, what more do you need to know?
Everyone, hockey has made its appearance. Boy and His Blob, Castlevania. It says the first Castlevania ranked quite high on our list because it starts with C and it's alphabetical.
Wait a
guess so.
second.
Oh, yeah.
It's
I
not
thought
ranked.
This wasn't ranked.
Then they have Castlevania 3. Do you know the reason why Castlevania 2 is not on it
Why are these
Here.
both out here in the same year anyway?
yet? It's not from this year. This is their best NES games of all time.
Oh, okay.
From the 5-year-old NES at this point.
Okay. Why is it not on here? Because it sucks?
Yeah,
Because
I was gonna say it's bad.
they list it as Simon's Quest, Castlevania 2.
Oh, my God.
It'll show up later. Yeah.
What sad editor put the chess master?
The Chess Master is on here. They said the Chess Master is an excellent NES game for those who already play chess and those who want to learn. One of the top 50 NES games of all time, Sam. Chess Master.
50 games on here?
Maybe
Yeah.
they just needed another
Chippendale.
one for the layout.
Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Just for the extra C on the page.
Contra, and I love what they say about Contra. Blah, blah, blah. This Contra and its sequel Super C tied in our voting. They both have great action and fluid graphics if you don't mind the nonstop killing.
Oh. Well,
I don't.
Like that's a blurb on the back of the box. Nonstop killing.
but like why? Like they don't say that about like Castlevania.
anything.
Every game on this list is nonstop killing except for chess.
Dr. Chaos is on here.
That's
It's a
kinda
fairly obscure title. Double Dragon, of course. Double Dragon 2, DuckTales, Galaga. Oh, wait. For DuckTales, they say Capcom's DuckTales ended up in our top 5, and it's no wonder.
So they used the copy
Yeah.
after ranking the list?
What they
Yeah.
did, what's becoming clear is they did rank them, then
then
decided
fought
they didn't
better
want to do
against
two,
it.
but didn't change the
Change
copy.
Yeah.
copy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Galaga is on here. Golf, like Sam said, challenging and versatile are the key characteristics of Nintendo's golf. You can see a close-up and overall view of each hole, so there's no excuse for ending up in a sand trap.
It's a good point.
I mean, if you had a close-up and an overall view of each hole.
It's no excuse.
Jordan vs. Bird 101. I don't know if Ultimate Basketball is on there, though. Karnov
Throw in the trash.
made their list. Another entry from early 1988, Data East Karnov is a Soviet weightlifter on a mission. Who cares what he's after? Just relax and enjoy the fun.
Yeah, it's part of the Bad Dude cinematic universe, right?
That's true. That's true. Clax The NES port of Clax is on the list.
These are great. These are some deep cuts in here.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with the quality of this list so far.
At the beginning of Clax, a screen comes up that says, "It is the 90s, and there is time for Clax."
It's true.
Not "it is time for Clax." There is time. Like, we have so much leisure time that
It's the 90s now.
there's time for Clax.
Yep. You don't need to be toiling out in the fields anymore.
And it's an American game put out by Atari.
Maybe
It's
that's what they
2020. There's no longer time for Clax.
That's true.
Not time for Clax.
Legend of Zelda, they say this classic role-playing game still generates more of our mail than almost any other game. It's funny that they consider it an RPG.
Is that like their version of Don't At Us?
Maybe. Legendary Wings, Life Force. That's a great game. Then Maniac Mansion, which I love. But they say this new game from Jalico is a role-playing adventure unlike any other Nintendo game.
Weird.
Not a role-playing game. Very clearly a point-and-click adventure game. Mega Man 1, 2, and 3 are on this list.
Uh-oh. What else made it?
That's it for those. Oh, and in the middle of this NES Player's Guide magazine is a 5-page ad for the TurboGrafx 16 and the Turbo Express. It took out 5 pages.
You know
before going
that's
after
deliberate, right?
I've never seen a Turbo Express. That was really cool looking.
this thing. Yeah,
Yeah. That's a cool
People
console.
still do that.
They have a
Look at
TV
the side of that console. It's so thick.
Yeah.
Or is that a radio?
No, this is a TV tuner. It was
I had a TV
sold separately,
I had a
sold set.
so it was like a portable TV.
I had a TV tuner for my Game Gear.
Wow, I didn't know they had that for that.
Wow.
Moving on, Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 are on there, not 3, but maybe that was after 1990. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nobunaga's Ambition is on here. Some more
Again, whoever
mature
put
gameplay.
Chess Master on put Nobunaga's Ambition on.
What about pinball, Sam? They say the first NES pinball game is still the best.
This list is falling apart.
I mean, that might be true.
They're all bad.
That might be true.
That might be true.
Rescue the Embassy Mission, Robo Warrior, Rocket Ranger, a game I have.
Nobody plays these
Yeah.
games.
Romance
I've
of the
played
Three
them all.
Kingdoms,
They started off strong. Now we're
Shadowgate, which I wholeheartedly approve of, Shingen the Ruler, Silent Service, that's a submarine
Sub game.
sim
I've never
game
played
I
it.
never played.
Yeah.
Then Simon's Quest, Castlevania 2. Stealth ATF, I should have just called it Stealth AF. Strider, Super C, Super Mario Brothers. Is there a gamer out there who hasn't played this classic Nintendo adventure? Probably not, no.
These days,
Super Mario Bros. 2 and 3 are both on there. Tecmo Baseball and Tecmo Bowl. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Turtles 2, the arcade game, are both here. And then for Tetris, it says our runaway #1 choice for our favorite Nintendo game is a classic of gaming. So this was
was
their
number one.
This was their #1.
That was a
but
big-
then they
You decoded
chickened
it.
out.
Yeah.
I love this chickened out ranking scandal. It's my favorite thing.
It's very common, that Tetris was often #1 on like greatest games of all time lists for a long, long time, and now I think we see more diversity at the top.
Yeah, that's probably true. And then Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link rounds out their list.
Not bad.
Lots of interesting choices in there. I love this ad for Acclaim, basically Game & Watch games that are in here. Ads for Bart Simpson's Cupcake Crisis, Narc. Can you imagine what Narc would play like on one of these things?
This is just like a little black
Yeah.
and white tiger toy.
Yeah, like a Tiger electronics toy that just has one screen, LCD screen. Bigfoot, the truck.
I don't know if these ever came out.
Yeah.
Arch Rivals and Total Recall.
I'm thinking that too.
Total Recall?
Yeah, based on the movie.
I think we need to track down the Total Recall
I want to play Narc.
electronic game.
Narc is like a crazy violent arcade game that I'd like to see how they represented that here. A peripheral maker called Quick Shot, which look at these weird things. There's like an NES Advantage style joystick. There's a scope that went on top of the zapper.
What is all this stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's as important. Why is Mario there?
This is a telephone. Super Mario Brothers telephone.
Mario branded.
Oh.
But it's just a regular, it doesn't like plug into your NES or anything. It's just,
no.
just a phone.
The adorable one-piece telephone features Mario himself, colorful star-shaped buttons, and redial.
Star-shaped buttons. I'm so in. Like.
Remember that redial button? Save you so much time. You
Oh, I forgot about it.
don't have to dial 7 digits again.
Oh, got disconnected.
Star,
Hit redial.
Star 69 people, if you didn't know who was calling.
It's an ad for the game handler, something we've talked about before. It was meant to be a one-handed controller. You can do everything with one hand. We watched like a sort of.
You can eat chips
Yeah, I
with your
remember
other hand.
I mean, yeah, that's a hot topic on.
They're not
Game
even
Speak.
advertising it as like what it could be, which is like a really good accessibility feature.
Yeah,
But
they weren't thinking about that back then. And now I love this. This is an ad for a Game Boy game called Dead Heat Scramble, which nobody played, but they have a contest. Win a Nissan Pathfinder.
Whoa.
you have entry form is included in game purchase, which what a $30 Game Boy game, and you could win a Nissan Pathfinder.
But there's also nobody
There's
over
no
the age
way.
of 12 playing video games yet.
There's
Did
literally
anybody win? We need to look
there's
this
literally no way
I would love to
anybody
find out the
actually
winner.
won this contest.
Let alone a 9-year-old. It's probably because the contest rules are written like must be 18 or older, and like every
Yeah.
single person that owns this game was not 18.
Didn't you do some digging on like contests? Like, wasn't there a Just Cause had a thing to win an island?
Yeah. There's something about that. It was some Square Enix game.
And then I thought we followed up on like, did that happen?
I don't know. I love this ad for 2 Toho games, Circus Caper and Godzilla. It says, from the company that brought you Godzilla's comes, quote, most fascinating game ever.
Oh yeah.
Who's that quote attributed to?
See, that's the type of quote that Dan Stapleton might approve.
Yeah,
There's no
no
attribution to who said most fascinating game ever.
almost made me barf.
Maybe it's that little. What's that little thing? The little clown thing?
And then, well,
Maybe that clown said it.
yeah, and then there's the ringmaster here who says, explore the big top, play. What? Play the game? Play what?
I like how Mothra's just flying around this.
Mothra,
Oh no, it's not Mothra.
Mothra's, this is Mothra.
Oh yeah, there's
That's
Mothra. Yeah.
Mothra's part of the circus. I don't know if we asked every gamer on the planet what the most fascinating game ever is. How many do you think we'd have to go through before we found someone that picked Circus Caper?
I would pick Seaman
few.
on the Dreamcast.
Yeah, probably.
That'll be our next poll.
Ad for Batman on NES. Let the battle begin. Are you ready? Because the Joker is waiting. And then it says Batman from Sunsoft. Go for it. You know, the classic Batman catchphrase. I'm Batman. Go for it. Getting to the back of the magazine, it gets so weird. I guess it's an ad for this game called Castle of Dragon, but it says s'more hot hints from the guy in the back who's him. And he gives you tips for this game that literally nobody played called Castle of Dragon. And then there's a little cutout to join the hottest game player club in the country, absolutely free.
I don't think this
How
is an
much does
ad.
it
I think
cost?
this is part of the magazine.
Because you send this off to SETI, the publisher of this game.
Okay. Yeah. You're
Search for extraterrestrial intelligence.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, finally, we've arrived.
Okay.
Coolest thing I've ever seen. Oh my God. This is an ad for Turbo Warrior. Listen to this copy. Your best game is better when you're warriorized. The Turbo Warrior cassette tape unlocks your powers, builds confidence, gives you control of your game. What is Turbo Warrior? A combination of music, specially written for game players, plus messages to you that can improve your performance.
What?
How does it work? Plug in your favorite game, turn down the sound, put the tape in your cassette player, and go. As you play, you hear positive subliminal messages along with music on the Turbo Warrior tape.
Holy smokes.
Right? When your violent reactions are replaced with cool, calm confidence, you play better.
Whoa.
Play longer when you're warriorized. It's a cassette tape that you had to order for $20, and it played music and then
It was like,
talked you up.
Hey man, you're
can do
doing
it.
great.
You can do it. You've got this, man.
Yeah.
You can beat this boss.
Damon, we could do this.
Yeah.
We could. Yes.
We could release.
Yes.
We could release this tape.
We should call it Scoop Warrior.
That's the name.
Scoop Warrior.
Become
Tina's
warriorized.
got a calming voice. She could do it.
I don't know. I tried searching for Turbo Warrior like on YouTube or something. I couldn't find anything. I want to hear this tape more than I want to see my son grow up.
Is the is the address in San Mateo?
Yeah, let's just go
Where's
there.
the address?
Track 'em down.
Is it? I can't see. No, it's in Fort Worth, Texas.
That's fine.
Oof.
That's not that far.
I'll send my brothers.
Yeah.
Send me X number of Turbo Warrior tapes at $19.95 each. I want to hear this
Man.
so bad. What was the music like?
Yeah.
What were the messages? The
Calming,
subliminal
zen-like
messages.
If we
Oh.
get
It's
it,
just like affirmations.
We could
Like you tell
also-
them to yourself in the mirror every day.
You have to.
do you think it's like that guy though? Is he like you're doing great, kid? Like, is it like the warrior, the Turbo Warrior himself, or is it like some Zen master? Wow. If we get that, we could reissue it on vinyl.
Yes, we could.
the
Absolutely could.
Tina, you just reminded me. The very best thing in Ring Fit is at the end of each level to like earn your points and experience. You have to kneel down, and then you like burst up into the air with
Oh,
your hands
man.
in the air in like a power pose.
Yeah.
and then that like explodes all your points and experience.
Of course, you have to have your celebratory moment,
It's great.
self-affirmation moment.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
We should explore making our own Scoop Warrior.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Motivational. cassette tape. Anyway, that was the Game Player Strategy Guide to Nintendo Games, December 1990. Extracurricular activities. 75% of your Omega Cops have been watching Dracula on Netflix, and we recommend it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We can't really talk about too much because there's some spoilers, but we think it's a really fun show that we've been enjoying. I think Justin's going to watch it sometime in the near future.
It's got really gory, cool
Gory?
practical effects in it of like old monster movie style, like The Thing, like John Carpenter's Thing, or
Yeah.
like things like that.
Seemed to come out of nowhere to me.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
had no idea.
BBC.
Like Dracula does. Oof.
It's the Sherlock guys, right?
It's BBC from the Sherlock guys, so it's 3 episodes. Each one's like 90 minutes long, sort of feature length. And
You discovered it. How did you discover it?
Well, I mean, it's on Netflix.
Was it the promotion?
And
How did you?
then-
I went to Netflix.com
it was
and
like,
it said Dracula.
Yeah, and it's like new show.
You don't
'cause
just
it's a
watch shows on Netflix
show.
that way.
I totally do. I check them out. So it was
Tastemaker.
Yeah.
Well, it was first on my radar that way, and then I saw a couple of our like colleagues tweeting about it in the industry. I guess there's a billboard where there's stakes lined
The
up.
billboard's so cool.
Yeah, it's just a white billboard with stakes, and then as the sun sets, you can see Dracula's face as it casts a
That's
shadow onto the billboard.
Cool. I gotta look that up.
And then so that's how that came about. It's a weird show. Obviously it's a take on Dracula.
Yeah.
Starts out fairly traditional and then goes some interesting directions. That is kind of divisive, I think, but we all like it.
Yeah,
I've
absolutely.
watched 2 of the 3 episodes. I'll probably watch the 3rd one tonight.
Yeah, I couldn't wait to go home and watch the 3rd episode last night. So it was totally great. And they're really long.
I'm a gym rat now, so I don't know if time. Get into that.
You multitask. You put it on an iPad in the corner while you're playing Ring Fit.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good idea.
All right, real quick, let's check in with the listeners.
Hey, listeners.
Listeners, remember you can always reach us at the email address gamescoop@ign.com, just like Ricardo Rodriguez did. And he says, over the course of 2019, I've been compiling some data from GameScoop's 20 questions. From overall win percentage to number of appearances, I started this because I was curious to see how well the crew actually does. Thought it would be interesting to
You
share.
got to run this stuff by us before you bring it on the show.
What do you think your overall
Success rate?
win percentage is?
Personally?
I
No,
saw
just
it.
overall. Oh, you already saw it. So Justin can't see.
I think we win 3/4 of the time.
That's
67%.
3/4 of the time. 74% is your win percentage.
So she was closer, but without going over.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Price is Right rules. In 2019, you had 38 wins and 13 losses.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you win much more often than you lose. Average number of questions to win, 17 and a half.
That's actually amazing to get that close to 20.
I mean, yeah. You guys
So we're
like to
hanging
drag
on
it out.
by the,
Yeah, I'd like to drag it out. The shortest amount of questions to win last year was 12 for Metroid Other M.
Wow, but that's even
Yeah.
quite a few.
Yeah.
What's
so
the
no-
average number of questions when we lose?
I don't know. Okay.
Maximum.
All right, Sam.
Got one over an old Davey.
For hard mode, you had 2 attempts at hard mode, but 0 wins. The games were a ski or die and uninvited. Your longest winning streak last year was 10 wins in a row.
10 wins in a row.
Longest losing streak was 2. 2 losses
Not
in a row.
bad.
When do you think our 10 wins started?
And then in episode 517, Sam revealed that he hates ice cream.
It's true. Also cookies.
I'm not taking
Yeah.
it back. I think it's gross and it gets all over everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Only bad ice cream is
What are you
rolled
talking about?
ice cream.
It gets from the bowl to your spoon to
No,
your
no,
mouth.
that's not the problem. The problem is cones.
Well,
Okay.
you don't have
Okay.
to
Starts
eat it in
dripping
a
out the
cone.
bottom.
What if you
That's
put it
important.
in
It's
a bowl?
immediately on your car roof if somebody's eating it in your car.
Okay, well, first of all, you're not eating it properly. You have to eat it fast enough, and you have to go around the edges.
Oh, now I'm
you don't have
convinced.
to get it in a cone.
Give me all the ice cream.
You don't have to get it. In a
I've learned
He's
it's
a
so
changed
funny
man.
now that I'm an adult of kids that are getting older. I've come all the way around the horn on certain topics, and now when my kids get ice cream and they're about to make a mess everywhere, and I have to take it from them and start licking it, and then my daughter's like, "Dad, stop!" Ugh. And I'm like, "You're not eating it fast enough. Like it's about to drip everywhere." And now I have like visceral memories of my parents, like taking my ice and eating half my ice cream cone.
You know the type of ice cream I love is rolled ice cream.
Oh no, we've just covered this.
I just came to
It's like melted ice cream frozen back over again.
I've
such a
never
bad
seen
idea.
Tina
It's
like
disgusting.
you went on such an arc of like was it you and Medina went and got rolled ice cream?
No, it was Brandon Hutt.
Brandon Hunt, and you were like ooh, rolled
Yeah.
ice cream, and then you came back and you're like, guys, it was bad.
It's the only ice cream place around here, and it's not good. Don't go to it.
What's it called?
Steep.
Yeah, I know the one.
Yeah,
I liked. Well, I haven't had rolled ice cream there.
All right.
it's not good.
That brings us to video game 20 questions. Our suggestion this week comes from, this is one of the Game Player's Guide to NES Games, top 50 NES games of all time. This our suggestion this week comes from Matt Ford.
Not the 20 questions game.
No,
the
the
song.
music. The music. It's Life Force.
Okay.
Matt Ford does not reveal his location, though. So with that, let the questioning begin.
We have 0 hints.
That's a good hint.
Was this game originally released on a cartridge?
No.
What are you smiling about over there?
That's a hint.
Is it like one of the SNES, like the Aladdin Lion King?
Well, yeah.
Oh, no, that's originally the.
Or he's doing one of those things where like it's on like a tape or like what they didn't call them carts.
Turbo
with the,
Warrior.
Yeah, something like that.
Scoop Warrior. I don't know. Was it on a compact disc type medium? Laser medium? What is this called?
Optical?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
What? So what is it? Digital download?
I guess so.
Is it on current gen consoles?
It is available on a current gen console.
I'm going back to I think Damon's pulling a tricky on
I'm not.
us.
Matt Ford's doing this. I'm just the messenger.
We're like, what's the thing like a floppy disk you wouldn't call a cartridge, for example, or there was a handheld. They're like something like that, you know, like didn't the?
I think it's just a downloadable game.
Was this game released as a downloadable game? Is it mainly a downloadable game?
Is it mainly?
No, like, I don't know, man.
I mean,
Like,
go to dates. Dates were so much more specific for us.
Okay. Was this game originally released before January 1st, 2000?
No.
Same question. 2010.
No.
All right, so it
That's
is
5.
current gen and available or current.
Well, it's probably
to
last.
But it's
gen.
not on current gen consoles.
No, it's available. So it was probably released last gen, and then I don't know,
Or
Yeah.
it's
like,
like
ported,
or it's on
whatever
Switch.
over.
or it's like Angry
That's the
Birds.
cartridge thing,
That's-
right? Is that could be tripping us up? Is that it's on
That could
cartridge,
be.
but it was probably an indie game that's now on cartridge for Switch.
But Damon said it wasn't released on cartridge.
Well,
Initially,
originally,
yeah, you're right.
Is this an indie game?
No.
Is it a shooter?
Yeah. You shoot. Yes.
Okay.
Is this on Switch?
Yes.
Okay,
Ooh. Not indie.
that really helps. Like
Is this a-
usually,
Shooty, not indie.
Does this have a physical release on the Switch?
No.
Why are you smiling like that?
that's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. You're weirding me out over there.
What is he hinting at?
I don't know.
Is it a sci-fi kind of game?
Yes. That's 10.
It's a sci-fi shooty game on Switch that was not originally released on the Switch, but was released in the 2010s. So something ported to the Switch that came out last gen.
Maybe
or on
it's definitely
DS.
a downloady game though, and not an indie game.
Yeah, only available digitally. Did Nintendo develop this game?
Yes.
Oh my God! Is it?
I guess it's a port of one
Is
of
it
the.
Splatoon 1 or 2? Is
Well,
it part of a series?
They got physical releases.
Yes. It is part of a series.
Nintendo developed it. It's probably on.
It didn't
Is
get
this
a physical release?
is this a Wii U port?
No.
It's probably on the NES or SNES downloadable service.
No, but he said it's not from before 2010.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh, it's Star Fox 2.
Oh, because sci-fi.
But Star Fox 2 isn't
forgot.
on the Switch.
That's right. It's on that. It is now, and it was on the SNES Classic first ever.
Yeah.
The first time it was ever.
You can play it on Switch now? Mm-hmm. Oh, cool.
It just got on.
That's how I want to play it.
Is this the sequel to? Is this a number 2 in a series?
Yes.
Is it Star Fox 2?
Yes.
Hey.
Star Fox 2.
Continuing our track record.
100% win rate in 2020.
We did it.
Nice.
That was a really cool one. Like to get around the idea of how it was originally released. Like
Yeah.
it was released on the SNES
Yeah,
Classic.
2017 on the SNES Classic. So if you'd asked if it had gotten a physical release, I would have said yes.
Oh, that would have been terrible.
Oh, I don't know, though. I don't know if that counts as a physical release.
You can buy it in stores and take it home with you.
What's more physical
Yeah.
What is a physical release?
But it's not, it's a, I don't know. It's a collection of things. It's a
Yeah.
piece of hardware that has software on it.
Would you call what you do in the end of Ring Fit a physical release? You go like, "Rah!"
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I think GameScoop is off to a good start in 2020.
I do too.
The new decade. That is all the scoops that we have for you this week. Thank you for your suggestion.
Oh, I have one more scoop.
Matt Ford. You called making me a liar.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the second time. Here's a scoop. In Final Fantasy VII, you can play as a cat that rides a Moogle.
Yeah.
His name is Kate something.
Sith.
Yeah.
Kate Sith.
You gotta go to Golden Sauce.
Is that a scoop for anybody here?
And fun
is that
fact,
news to you?
Sure.
not the Star Wars type of Sith.
No, different Sith.
Remember, you can always reach us at the email address, gamescoop@ign.com. My name is Damon. I forgot to thank you guys first. We're supposed to go. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Teo. My name is Damon. This is IGN Gamescoop, and we're out.